Limpar, who had a brilliant game playing wide on the right at Chelsea last week. He's got a thigh strain. He's ruled out. That's a pity, really. It gives Joe Royle, though, the chance to bring back the more combative John Ebrell, who was injured last week but played very well in the Merseyside derby win. In attack, Duncan Ferguson plays against the Leeds side that he very nearly joined 16 months ago. In the end, he preferred Glasgow Rangers, of course. There's no place, not even on the bench, for Nigeria's Daniel Amakachi. Stuart Barlow is preferred as a substitute.
Well, Joe will obviously go in with this 4-4-2 formation. No surprise to see his back four the same. And I think once again success will be built on hard work and putting people under pressure when they don't have the ball. It's a loss to the Manders Limpar here not playing. He did offer them a quality from that right-hand side. He's particularly high up the pitch. When you look at Rideout and Ferguson, anything coming across there, you really would fancy the strikers to get on the end of it. But I think this will be a hard-working midfield quartet. There are no goals at all from any of them this season. So it does suggest that Paul Rideout and Ferguson have a lot on to get the goals tonight. But I'm looking to see him again. He was tremendous in the derby. I wonder if we'll see a similar performance from him tonight.
He was tremendous, I can tell you. Last week, too, at Chelsea, they could have had 4. I think they should have had 4. They really were very good, Everton, last week, and I hope they can produce that kind of form tonight in front of the cameras. Leeds United, of course, will hope they don't. Here's the Leeds side. Manager Howard Wilkinson was flirting with one change to the side that beat Nottingham Forest last week, but he's decided against that. It's the same 11 with the 2 South Africans, Phil Masinga and Lucas Radebe, on the bench. Leeds' hopes of signing Ruben Sosa from Inter Milan fell through in the end, but Brian Deane is now displaying his best form since joining Leeds, according to his manager. And Howard Wilkinson also says that Carlton Palmer, playing as a central defender, of course, these days, is now ready for an England recall.
Well, they'll have to play well, the 2 centre-backs tonight. Both Palmer and Weatherall have got a job on. When strikers are playing well and on form, it really does make it difficult for centre-backs. But he can look to Deane, Howard Wilkinson and Whelan, who are 2 strikers again, who are playing very well in. And we've got 4 really, well, 6-foot-plus strikers on the pitch tonight. It's going to be interesting. The biggest difference between the 2 sides lies in midfield. No goals in the Everton quartet, but I think all 4 of them are all capable at any time of getting a goal. The one worry, I think, for Howard Wilson at times and away from home is the midfield do tend to empty it. Both Speed and McAllister like to go forward. They like to join in the attack. And I think at times when they do that, they do leave a big gap here that teams exploit a little bit. Perhaps Callum McAllister's experience will say, well, hold on a minute, I'll be the one who just maybe holds a little bit, gives a little bit of depth to the midfield.
We'll have to watch that, Gary McAllister. Twice on Monday Night Football this season, he scored his only 2 goals. I said to him beforehand, you're bound to score tonight then. And he gave me a rather wry smile. Gary's had a broken nose recently. There he is. Says it's all right again. That happened at Queen's Park Rangers the other week when Leeds were beaten 3-2 in Ray Wilkins' first game as the QPR manager. Paul Durkin, the referee. And they'll come out to a very big reception because Everton are back on song. Average crowds here, over 30,000. It's Everton then looking to climb out of the bottom 3 for the first time this season. 5 games unbeaten they are. They've had a great November. The rebirth of the Blues, is it? But Leeds United will be a tough test. Leeds can go 5th if they win this one. Very good game between 2 big clubs at Goodison Park. Don't go away. Join us after the break. Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Well, Joe Royle, 2 wins out of 2 so far since he took over from Mike Walker. To be fair to Mike, they were 3 games unbeaten at the time he was fired. But confidence is a wonderful thing. Everton are starting to get it. Referee Paul Durkin from Portland in Dorset, who had a meteoric rise onto the league list. It took him only 13 years, and believe me, that is a short time from the first time you pick up a whistle. Everton off the bottom now, and if they won this by a 3-goal margin, they'd be out of the dreaded bottom 4 as well. Leeds, just to remind you, they need this win here tonight, and they'll go 5th if they can get it. can they produce the kind of form away from home that they produce so often at Ellen Road? Here's their skipper, Gary McAllister. Up down the line towards White. Ablett doing the covering. Gary Kelly is going to try a long throw by the look of it.
Yeah, David Weatherall's going up as well, Ian.
Instead they do it short. Kelly does well with his cross. Back out to McAllister. Lovely little flick, but it's offside against Whelan.
McAllister, he's always looking in. Even under pressure, he's got time to pull that down and pick out Whelan. I'll tell you what, it's very close, isn't it? Always difficult for linesmen, though, when defences are moving out.
Gary McAllister, a habitual scorer on Monday nights on Sky Television. Kelly. That's David Unsworth cutting it out for Everton. Picked up by Barry Horn. He's got Ferguson pulling away to his left-hand side. Ferguson here, Kelly just getting in at a vital time. Did it go out of play? It did. It'll be a corner kick.
Oh, they're a little bit lucky it went out for a corner, with Andy Hinchcliffe picking up the ball at the edge of the box and John Lukic miles out his goal.
Here's the corner from Hinchcliffe. Watson up there with the header.
Well, there are plenty of options on both sides from set pieces. But this chance occurs because they get pressured in midfield again. And high pressure was the thing that they did against Liverpool, but once again, the pace of Gary Kelly. He's so quick recovering here.
That was a threat on the floor. A lot for Leeds might depend on how well they cope in the air against Rideout and Ferguson. Ferguson particularly dangerous.
With Unsworth and Watson coming up as well. It's a big quartet. But to be fair, with Palmer, Weatherall, Dean and Whelan, it's a quartet big enough to deal with it.
Everton themselves haven't conceded a goal in the last 4 matches. Arsenal were the last side to score against them in a 1-1 draw here. Here's Dorigo. Unsworth attacking it. And here's Andy Hinchcliffe. Up towards Ferguson. Just played a little behind him. He had to check his stride. Unsworth again. He's making a very good impression. He looks about the best discovery among the young defenders to come through this season. Hinchcliffe doing well under pressure. And Southall belting it away. Neville Southall has been in fantastic form in the last couple of games. He made 3 absolutely world-class saves at Stamford Bridge last week. Unsworth once again getting in ahead of Brian Dean. Dean was on a good roll himself as well for Leeds after some difficult times. Now Gary Kelly.
That's when it helps to have somebody like Andy Hinchcliffe, really a natural left-back playing ahead of Gary Ablett. Defensively, Ablett knows he's going to have someone helping him, certainly most of the time.
Kelly trying to get his cross in, but Everall back in the side tonight, making sure he doesn't.
Well, high pressure, and that was the way Joe set out his team against Liverpool, to press, 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 not to let them get into their stride, and it worked really well for them. But it's physically a very demanding way to play.
Carlton Palmer up to Brian Dean. Palmer trying to rampage through again. He scored here for Sheffield Wednesday last year. Dorigo. Watson getting it away. Now it's McAllister. This is aimed at Brian Dean. He's won it as well. Unsworth there again. He seems very quick to read things, Unsworth. England under-21 international.
This is a decent ball. The only problem for Brian Dean is really at full stretch. Can't get enough power. He's trying to knock it down to Whelan. Unsworth always in control.
This is McAllister. And to Dorigo. Leeds with the territorial advantage early on. Whelan looks so exciting this season, the 19-year-old Leeds striker. He's their top goal scorer and has just been voted the top young achiever of the year in Yorkshire.
And I first saw him play in that big Youth Cup final against Manchester United a couple of years ago. And he showed enough to me that night that he might just get somewhere in this game. But I think the goals have been a bonus for Howard Wilkinson this year. I think he's done better than Howard expected.
Certainly been a big plus at Ellen Road.
But you can see that the pace of the game, no one can get their foot on it. McAllister trying to get it, speed trying to get it. And that's all down to the pressure
Which is offside
that
against
Everton
Whelan.
players are putting on when they've not got the ball.
Whelan offside on that occasion. But we saw that in the Everton-Liverpool game, how tigerish and committed and passionate Everton were in the midfield. And in the end, they just wore Liverpool down on the night. Up goes Ferguson. McAllister in quickly for the ball as it's knocked down, and not too happy with Everill's challenge.
Well, that's what he's going to get, a challenge, Gary McAllister. He is the man who makes them tick. And you can bet your life that John Everill's job, or part of his job, will be as soon as McAllister gets the ball and get close to him. But that was quite a bit high.
Of course, Everill's reintroduction tonight means no wide man officially. Watson.
That was good play from Parkinson there, Ian. He had to track Gary's speed because the knockdown from Brian Dean was a good one.
Watson doing well to feed it out wide here for Hinchcliffe. Now it's Gary Ablett. Hinchcliffe fell into the danger area. Carlton Palmer deciding he couldn't afford to take the gamble on whether Lukic might get that.
John Lukic inquiring to David Weatherall as to why he didn't head this, but I don't think he could have done. And when defenders and goalkeepers get close, there can be problems. But Carlton Palmer just cleared it up.
The corners of Andy Hinchcliffe have been causing problems in recent games. There's another one, and it's caused a problem this time as well. Everton ahead again here.
Well, that's a great header from Paul Rideout. But where on earth was Leeds marking? It's a straightforward corner. It's very well delivered. Pace. But look at Paul Rideout. That's very poor marking if you're defending a corner in. But I tell you what, it's a quality ball in. A quality header. Really powerful, really direct. But I say it again, where on earth was the marking?
Paul Rideout with his 7th goal of the season. And the Everton revival continues. Everton 1, Leeds United 0. And there'll be inquests in the Leeds defence about how that happened. Ferguson, Hinchcliffe in quickly again. Palmer miscuing it. Weatherall with a miscue as well, and Rideout was in there again. Dorigo with the challenge. This will be another corner. Well, Hinchcliffe's corners produced that first vital goal for Duncan Ferguson against Liverpool. And they produced a goal tonight for Paul Rideout, who's now scored in each of the last 3 games. Hinchcliffe in there again, not really won cleanly by Lukic. Leeds scrambling it clear in the air.
Yeah, they're all over the place at corners. They really are. Never more so than at this one here. Again, I don't think Paul Rideout has to do an awful lot. He didn't seem to make much movement. He just seemed to be standing there. But I'll tell you what, it's a wonderful quality header. Look, in between players. Now that shouldn't happen at a corner in. And John Lukic is left with absolutely no chance.
Everton ahead. The goal scored after 8 minutes. Whelan trying to turn away from his England under-21 buddy, David Unsworth. So Leeds United's problems away from home continuing for the moment. What can they do about it? Kelly taking it. Watson winning it in the air. Now it's McAllister. And Wallace's ball is very lazy. It's allowed Duncan Ferguson to come away and run at Palmer. And look how confidently he's doing that. Palmer running across the line of Ferguson, but not obstruction, says the referee.
Well, it looked like he made up his mind very quickly, Duncan Ferguson. I thought he had support coming up on his right, Ian. and not many people can outrun Carlton Palmer.
And that will be a free kick from McAllister's challenge. Leeds United have lost already at Coventry, Norwich, Ipswich and Queen's Park Rangers. A couple of wins at Palace and Southampton, draws at West Ham and Sheffield Wednesday. And one down to Everton, whose fans are making plenty of noise, as you'd expect now.
That's a great start, it really is. I thought this would be Joe's toughest test. I thought the derby would take care of itself. The atmosphere and the passion of a derby, the players would be up for that, Ian. And on the back of that, Chelsea, I think, would have looked after itself. But Leeds coming here knowing that I think they have to get 3 points tonight. It would have a really tough test for these players. And 3 wins in a row isn't easy in Premiership football. It really isn't. If Everton do that tonight, then you could possibly then be saying, yep, they're back, well on the way.
William picks it up. This is White. Former Manchester City man, McAllister running for the return ball. Ablett was in there. He's just about done enough. Unsworth completing the clearance with his head. And well played by Hinchcliffe. Ebril.
Oh, he had a ball right in. Barry Horn, there's acres of space. Just didn't see him.
Rod Wallace can break onto the end of it. Wallace being used mostly this season in wide roles, wide on the right, wide on the left, and not as a strike partner to the big man up front as he was in the Championship year when he played with Lee Chapman. There was a story, of course, in the papers recently, which came from Illy Dumitrescu himself, who said Leeds were interested in signing him. Howard Wilkinson said nonsense when I asked him about that this morning. Meanwhile, right out again, dropping out, Ferguson was running in. Luckily, the touch by Lukic took it to the corner.
Oh, not luckily, and I tell you, that's a great save from the goalkeeper. Ferguson's power in the air the first thing. Right out doesn't give it up, but it's a snapshot. You hit the ball early. You take the goalkeeper by surprise, and I think that's what he does here. I'll tell you what, that's a great save from Lukic. Just might have slipped in the corner.
Another Hinchcliffe corner, and nearly another goal. Ferguson.
Well, both Ablett and Rideout holding their heads, and both of them had an opportunity to put a head on it.
But where were the Leeds defenders again?
You tell me. How many times do they need a warning? Ablett comes out, misses it. Rideout goes in, misses it. I mean, that was a glorious opportunity. Look at that, 2 of them, Ian. 2 of them in between 2 Leeds players. What is happening in there? I mean, Howard must be wondering what on earth is going on.
He can't be a happy man with the start his side have made here. Howard Wilkinson was saying he thought this would be like a cup tie, the atmosphere tonight. In the real FA Cup, Everton have been drawn here. They'll play Derby County. Leeds will be away to Preston or Walsall. And they'll be mindful that they've already been knocked out of one cup competition this year by Mansfield. Now this is Whelan. Dorigo. Dean tries to win it. Then White on the turn. Deflected off Unsworth for a corner. And Ablett down injured.
Well, there's a handful, Brian Dean, when they just hoist the ball in, as Tony Dorigo does here. He does enough to stop the ball being cleared. Gary McAllister wants this. You see him coming in from the left. He was attacking the ball. He might have been better positioned to take the shot at goal.
Brian Dean, who's becoming a bit of a favourite with the Ellen Road fans. He set up the winner last week against Nottingham Forest, and it's not been easy for him. A lot of publicity about Howard Wilkinson looking for other strikers. Ruben Sosa, the Skurabi deal which fell through, and of course before he was signed they were going to sign Duncan Ferguson, the man playing in the other number 9 shirt tonight.
I remember that story. I was on holiday in Portugal and I bumped into Howard Wilkinson. We were talking about the game and he was saying at the time, I said to him, anything happened in the summer? And he said, yeah, I'm very hopeful of getting a kid from Dundee United. And I said, don't tell me, Duncan Ferguson. He said, yeah. He said, I've got him down soon and I'm really hopeful of clinching the deal. Obviously it fell through.
He preferred Glasgow Rangers.
He did.
And that was the bottom line. But to now Everton, of course, want to make his move here permanent. Meanwhile, McAllister with the corner kick. McAllister. And Southall not realising or knowing, and he couldn't take the chance that there was nobody behind him.
Yeah, he just obviously wasn't sure of his positioning. Lost his bearings a little. The goalkeeper normally never would just let that one go harmlessly for a goal kick.
Leeds United's second corner in a matter of seconds. McAllister taking it, and Southall claiming it well, having given away the corner in the first place.
That's just like him, isn't it? He does set himself high standard.
There are all sorts of people writing not very complimentary things about Neville Southall earlier on this season, but he's really found himself again in recent matches. Dorigo, good ball to find Whelan, and then Wallace, speed breaking well from the midfield, Unsworth across to cover.
What the viewers won't see at home is this swirling wind around the ground, and it really must be causing some problems.
It's blowing a lot harder than it was earlier on as Wallace tries the dipping volley. They did warn about severe gales up here tonight. I thought it wasn't going to happen, but of course once the match started, so did the wind, and Ablett's in trouble here a bit. It's the rib injury by the look of it. Now, is he going to be able to carry on, Gary Ablett, there?
Well, I mean, with the substitutes, it wouldn't be a great problem. He's actually going off now, Ian. He's made that quick decision. I think that what will happen is Andy Hinchcliffe will move to left back. And Graham Stewart, I think, is the one who's coming on.
So Gary Ablett comes off, and Graham Stewart, who was ever present when Mike Walker was the manager, the former Chelsea player, but has been left out by Joe Royle, gets his chance.
And this is where the incident occurred. I mean, it seems... Yeah, he must have crushed a couple of ribs there as about 14 stone of Brian Dean landed on him.
Should have known all about that. So Stewart has settled in wide on the left of the midfield. Hinchcliffe going back to left back, as Andy was saying. And breaking through here, Ebrel. Almost fell to Stewart. He might have had a chance with his very first kick. White leading the counter-attack for Leeds United. Kelly on the overlap, still running. Here's the very, very pacey Gary Kelly. He's got a good cross into the near post, but no Leeds players there. Only big Dave Watson.
They had two in there. A little bit surprised that neither Whelan, particularly Whelan, who was a front man, attacked the near post. Because Kelly did miss out the front man, who was Unsworth.
Gary McAllister with the corner. Speed, who's so good in the air. Dorigo. Oh, it looked a bit of a cannonball. Might have been interesting had it been allowed to travel to see how accurate that really was. And McAllister not given any chance to win it by Hinchcliffe.
Well, we can enjoy that wonderful header, but I'm not so sure that Leeds fans and Howard Wilkinson will be too pleased about it. But it really was a fine header from right out. Probably not his natural side, Ian, coming in that way. Happy with the ball coming from the other side.
This ball right out was quite unsettled at one stage earlier on in the season here, but I think he must be pretty happy at the moment because he's being preferred to Daniel Amakatu, who doesn't even make the bench tonight.
I think his record's, well, not reasonably good, but very good this season. That's what, his 7th league goal in only 13. This is 13th league match from Paul Rideout. That ain't a bad return.
It's good, isn't it?
Not bad at all.
And 3 in the last 3. Here's John Ebrel. Matt Jackson. And Wallace clipping it away. What can Dean make of it? Watson in there very, very quickly. That's going to be a real old battle between those two.
Well, he's tough and uncompromising, Dave Watson. I like him a lot. As a centre-back, he's unfussy about his job. He just gets on with it, and he makes life very difficult for front men. And that's his job.
This is Rodney Wallace. Everton bounces off speed, and then again in an uncomplicated fashion Watson gets it away. Dave Watson, of course, is old enough to have actually played alongside Joe Royle for a while at Norwich City. He's 33 now, Dave. Here's Jackson. Played in towards right out, but not far enough. Palmer getting this one away. Carlton Palmer with the back header from about the spot where he scored with a header for Sheffield Wednesday here last season. We covered that game.
Yeah, it was extraordinary, wasn't it? He'll settle for one of those now tonight at the other end.
Certainly would, but then no team have scored against Everton in November yet. Right out. Dave Watson's free kick for Everton. Ferguson attacking it. Palmer getting it away. Ebra was in there and was pushing McAllister.
Well, you can see why they look for Ferguson such a lot from set pieces, particularly from deep here. He really is a handful.
He's got a great hang in the air as well, isn't he?
Well, there's a lot of people at 6 foot plus that don't really jump their height, but I think he's an exception. I think he's one that does jump his height.
This is Brian Dean. Dean again. Played on the near post where Wallace had got in front of the defender.
Well, they had 3 against 2 there. No wheeling the drag to Dave Watson away from the centre of the goal.
Central really for Leeds United that they pick up something tonight. After West Ham on Saturday, they've got games against Arsenal, Newcastle and Blackburn coming up. It's a toughish run. Right out laying it off to Ferguson, who's caught by Carlton Palmer.
That was
Yellow card.
Lovely play from the 2 front men. Zippy ball into the man facing up the play. One touch off to his strike partner, they've left the centre-back for dead. And it's just a lunge from Carlton Palmer. And no surprise to see the yellow card.
Yellow card for Carlton Palmer, just to confirm. Right out. Dorigo. Carlton Palmer getting rave reviews from his manager for his performance last week when he had Collymore and Roy to deal with. And Leeds kept a clean sheet on that occasion, but they haven't tonight. Dean. Wallace pulling wide left for it. He's lost his footing at the crucial moment. That's Barry Horn chipping it forward. Some of the Leeds players felt that the grass on the pitch was a wee bit too long, but it has been very, very wet. There was torrential rain over the weekend, and again today. Speed. Unsworth bringing it away. Horn for Stewart. Not accurate enough by Stewart, and here's Speed. Kelly. McAllister. All very, very tight. And Everton win it back again. It was Hinchcliffe's challenge. Here's Stewart. Palmer in ahead of Rideout on that occasion. It's Weatherall with the clearance. And no offside given because White was coming back. And so play continues with Dean. Dorigo, pacey run. Good looking cross as well. Whelan unable to get on the end of it. There might still be something for Leeds United. Speed, Whelan again. Great challenge by Unsworth. And Speed's final attempt to get the cross is charged down by Hinchcliffe.
Well, it's one of the few times when I've covered many games this season, Ian, that this new offside instruction has been adhered to. And they almost paid for it dearly. Everton it is.
Might have been quite a debate how that all resulted in a goal.
Well, it would have been, because technically the linesman was correct.
McAllister. Weatherall. Southall says that's mine. His 470th game in 13 years at Goodison. Not a bad buy, that was it? 150,000 quid from Berry.
Our Ken was saying before the game that it was his first signing. And there's not many people that would argue that it might just have been his best as well. With that kind of record.
It's beyond dispute, isn't it?
Although Adrian Heath's purchase would have pushed it closer, I think.
You had to say that, didn't you, with him around. Got a great goal yesterday for Burnley in the cup. Match winner too. Here's Everett. No way through for Jackson. Can Whelan get to this? I think not. Weatherall was being impeded in midair. Leeds will have a free kick.
There's a belief about Everton's play at the moment. Certainly there was in the derby, and they've carried it on, taking it to Stamford Bridge, and it's evident here tonight.
Going up with Speed in the air. Speed is such an aerial menace, as we've already seen tonight, with one very good-looking header which was charged down. Speed with the throw then for Leeds. Right out. Kelly, the young man from Tregeeda. Speed there, he's brave with his head. Jackson away. Back to Gary Speed again. Good looking run from Speed. Cut out by Parkinson.
This is where they're a bit vulnerable, Leeds, when it breaks down like that, because both McAllister, again, and Speed, have got almost ahead of the ball. And it leaves the back four of Leeds very exposed to a quick counter-attack.
This is nobody sitting in, is there? Whelan. White. Good challenge by Jackson. Ferocious scramble for possession in the middle third of the field.
It's been unbelievable half an hour, pace-wise, of the game. I wondered whether Everton could keep it up in the local derby. They did.
Dorigo Wallace offside. It might have been Whelan it was given against. But no, I think it was Wallace on the far side.
If it was Wallace, it was tight, Ian. I thought, like you, it might have been no Whelan, neither of the linesmen. Yeah, you wouldn't believe that, would you, the scoreline? All that pressure, all that defending Everton had to do.
But they have been really tight of late, defensively, Everton. This is Duncan Ferguson. Graham Stewart. Back in by Joe Parkinson.
what you will get with confidence, you get midfield players like Parkinson and Everton and Horn trying to get forward more and more as they grow in confidence with the team's ability to keep them out at the other end of you.
Kelly. Dean. Everton, if they win this tonight, would climb ahead of Aston Villa. And Everton's next game, would you believe, is against Aston Villa. Brian Little and all at Villa Park on Saturday. Rodney Wallace. Remember him scoring that wonderful goal for Leeds against Spurs at the end of last season when he beat about 4 defenders. Wallace has got a good record. He scored in this fixture last year, and he scored 2 when Leeds won 4-1 here in the League Cup tie in their championship year. Pinchcliffe up to Ferguson.
Look at the blue shots around the ball there on this near side in the lost it in. 3 of them immediately put the Leeds player under pressure.
Stewart, curling one.
And Leeds have found it difficult to put any sort of football together under that sort of pressure. Gosh, look at that. Look at all the shots there. 3, 4 of them in that shot. So there's a fair chance they're going to win the ball. And you can see what Graham Stewart's trying to do here. This stays off him a little bit, Gary Kelly, but the ball doesn't come down quick enough for him.
Slightly unfamiliar position for Stewart to be playing in. He's normally more of a wide right player.
Yeah, it's only people like Adrian Heath can bend them in from that kind of area.
What is this, the Adrian Heath Appreciation Society tonight?
It's similar, wasn't it, his goal yesterday?
I hope he gives you that fiver at half-time. Right, here's Kelly. David White. Knocked back in again, but Unsworth was the man covering from Whelan's header.
Well, it's the type of cross you're not going to score with a header. It's the second ball you're going to score with, far too deep from David White.
Speed. Dean in here. Southall had to be brave and watch that all of the way. That was a very difficult one for the goalkeeper to deal with.
Well, you bet your life you had to be brave. Brian Dean can be a pretty awesome sight when he's flying at you. And there's no way he was pulling out.
Very difficult for the goalkeeper and essential for him to keep his eye on the ball in that situation.
Well, we saw David James make a mess of a punch under pressure from Duncan Ferguson in the derby, and Everton profited from it. But he was keeping his eyes firmly on it. I mean, he knows, he can see Dean coming, he knows there's going to be a collision, but he got a good fist to that. Got it outside the penalty area.
Wallace and Matthew Jackson coming out on top. Jackson, who was actually born in Leeds, but he said the family moved away when he was 2, so it wasn't really a question, I think you could say, of Leeds United missing him.
The youth policy slipped up again.
The nursery policy. Fancy missing that 2-year-old talent. Nicely done. Here's Rodney Wallace. Unsworth across again. He doesn't do an awful lot wrong, does he, Unsworth?
Yeah, it was a bad touch from Wallace, Ian, in all honesty. He let the ball get too far away from his body.
Gary Speed. Up goes Weatherall for it. Ferguson won it though and hacked away almost onto the top tier of the stand by Barry Horn. A couple of chemistry graduates in there together, Barry Horn and David Weatherall. Leeds with the corner. Dean there on the near post. Palmer waiting for the flick on. Whelan is there as well. Speed very deep. Up goes Whelan. He didn't win it in the air though. It was won by Ferguson. And then Hinchcliffe getting it away. Then Watson getting it away. And that's another corner.
This is good pressure from Leeds.
McAllister delivers again. Again, Ferguson was the man who won it in the air. There was some pushing, and Everton will have a free kick.
Well, that was two headers there that they had to win, Duncan Ferguson. When you come back and you're defending, and then you just have to be as determined. You can see here, it comes up and he's thinking, that's mine. I'm taking that.
Peter Johnson and Cliff Finch. Peter Johnson, the chairman, on the right. Cliff Finch on the left. And so far, they haven't been asked to be spending anything by Joe Royle.
You know, when you have two wins in, you can take a little bit more time. You can let your players have a little bit of breathing space. The pressure is not there to go out and purchase immediately. Look, they've been asked to work very, very hard again, Everton, defensively. They've had to endure a lot of pressure tonight. Leeds will feel themselves a little bit unlucky that they're the victim of really bad defending at one corner. Well, not one corner. They were punished at one corner, but the defending hasn't been great at any of the corners they've faced tonight, Leeds. And that's basically been the difference when you see Everton defending corners. Watson and Ferguson and Unsworth all throwing themselves at defensive headers. And that's about what separates the sides.
If you've recently joined us, let me remind you that Everton's goal scored by Paul Rideout in the 8th minute. And Everton have had to make a substitution as well, with Gary Ablett going off with a rib injury and Graham Stewart replacing him. Dean flicking this one on. Watson getting it away. And then Andy Hinchcliffe with a neat piece of work. Spreading it wide for Barry Horn, who didn't really have a hope with that bounce.
Amazing when you think the amount of water that's fallen on this pitch today.
Still quite lively, isn't it?
Bounced, yeah. You just thought that would have sat like a pudding.
One for Ferguson to chase in between the two central defenders. Palmer got ahead to it, did well. Howard Wilkinson says he hasn't seen a better centre-half this season than Carlton Palmer. Dean. And Unsworth's challenge on speed.
Well, I think the crowd behind the goal thought that came back off Gary's feet. The timing of the tackle was good. Ryan Dean just off his knee, but Unsworth has to time it well, and he does.
Yet another Leeds corner. There's been plenty of them. Southall. And again some pushing, and again an Everton free kick. Here in the FA Carling Premiership, Everton 1, Leeds United 0. On Sunday, we are across Stanley Park at Anfield for Liverpool against Crystal Palace. That's Super Sunday for you. And on Monday night, Manchester City against Arsenal. Mr. Rigo gets that ball back. By the way, at Anfield tomorrow night, Ian Rush's testimonial game against Celtic. I understand the Celtic team are here watching somewhere tonight, as is the Scotland manager, or coach Craig Brown, who is watching Duncan Ferguson. He was asked to chase that and has little hope of getting it. And they'd love to do a deal to make that move from Glasgow Rangers permanent, but Rangers may have other ideas, of course. Dean. 5 minutes then to the break, and Everton a goal to the good. stayed like this, they'd go up to 19th. They'd almost need oxygen masks after the season they've been having, Everton. Kelly rather miscuing it. Palmer winning it well in the air. Dean, McAllister. And Ebrel, cut out by Kelly. Now it's Ferguson. Parkinson. Leeds have had much of the possession, but have been unable to find any kind of cutting edge as yet. And that's because Everton have defended in depth and with real commitment and organisation.
Neither team's really enjoyed what you would call possession either, Ian. It's been pretty frantic at times. Both teams have got the ball forward quickly. But certainly they've enjoyed most of the pressure, Leeds. It's Everton who have had to do the majority of the defending.
McAllister not happy again with Ebrel and elbowing them away.
Yeah, well, every time I watch Leeds, and Gary McAllister this season has been very influential in every game I've seen them play. But he's not had as much of an influence as he would like so far. And that is because of the pressure that central midfield players at Everton are putting on him as soon as he gets the ball. And he'll get that anywhere, though, because he's a quality player.
As with the Liverpool game here a fortnight ago, it really has been very frenetic and frantic in the middle third of the pitch in the first half.
Yeah, as players tire a little bit in the second half, we'll probably see a bit more patience, but more passes put together.
Weatherall penalised for the challenge on Ferguson.
Well, a huge cheer. I think they feel that Duncan Ferguson, the home fans, certainly, that he's been a victim of one or two bad decisions from the referee at the moment.
Hinchcliffe again. Can he set up something else? Not with a cross like that one. McAllister able to get that one away. Ebrel. Bounces off Weatherall. And Jackson is happy to let that run for a corner.
Well, you bet your life he's happy to let it run for a corner. If he remembers, as we do, the trouble that Leeds have had facing corners, then why not let it run? And get Andy Hinchcliffe over and say, go on, whip another one in there with a bit of pace about it.
Particularly with this wind swirling around as well and his natural in-swing with the left foot. Leeds have looked very uncomfortable from the corners. Here comes another one from Hinchcliffe. And again, it wasn't one. Stewart with the header over the bar. But they just are not claiming those balls in there.
You can only think he heads this off the back of Tony Dorigo, who's a player that's Carlton Palmer, in fact. And it does come off Palmer.
That's bad news for Leeds. It's another corner here. 1.5 minutes to half-time. Hinchcliffe in there again. This time, Leeds United, Weatherall in particular, winning it. Weatherall with the header again. Hinchcliffe. Palmer in ahead of Ferguson. And Unsworth with a volley into space. McAllister. Wallace breaking into the space. Jackson hacks it away. But Kelly will pick it up for Leeds United. Unsworth with the header clear. McAllister. Looked like a deliberate handball there, but Leeds had possession. Good advantage played there by the referee, Paul Durkin.
Not so sure. I don't think Leeds would have minded a free kick 25 yards from goal in. With a minute to go to half-time.
Whelan.
And nothing's come of it. See, I think they'd have much preferred the free kick.
Parkinson dispossessed, but it's a free kick. So Parkinson, one of those unsung, unheralded players who was playing in Division 2 with Bournemouth a year ago.
Well, they're all very similar, the quartet of Everton midfield players. Ian, full of industry, full of work rate.
Speed cutting it out. The wind not making it easier for the players either. Stewart trying to chase this one, where they're all back defending. But Leeds United, in first half injury time, they're going to have some work to do in this second half to avoid a 5th away defeat this season. Speed.
He'll get booked, John Ebro. Not particularly for that foul. I think there'll be 2 or 3, particularly against Gary McAllister, and Paul Durkin has let them go. But I think that would go down as persistent infringement of the rules.
That was interesting. Joe Royle went down the tunnel, so did Matt Jackson, and so did Barry Horn. He thought the half-time whistle had gone. It hasn't, and Ebro has been booked. That's what really happened out there. That's peculiar. Dean chasing it in. It's like that incident at the weekend when Sheffield Wednesday's Chris Waddle didn't have his shirt on when he took his tracksuit off to come on and substitute at the weekend. Well, we are nearly 2 minutes now into injury time at the end of the first half. It's all been a bit frantic, quite honestly, but Everton will not care one bit about that. Joe Royle's side are going well again. They lead by a 0-0. Paul Rideout, a free header from a corner, and Leeds not able to find the menace to get an equaliser. Everton 1 up, second half coming up, and discussion at half-time. To sound like Michael Fish too much, I can tell you that the wind is blowing even stronger and gusting. Bits of paper blowing across the pitch. There's Paul Rideout, whose goal separates the sides. There we are, straining at the flagpole.
And that's in the corner, so think what it's like out in the middle.
Don't make life any easier, that's for certain. It was a bit frantic, that first half. Maybe the players' legs, as they begin to tire, it may just open out and slow down and produce more in the way of flowing football.
Well, you do think the pace has got to drop. It's some time in the game, Ian.
Can't really knock Everton, can you, though? There they were down at the bottom of the table. Joe Royle's come in. He's got them scrapping, hasn't he, for absolutely everything. And it's Everton in their blue shirts, of course, who get us underway at the start of the second half.
Well, I've always believed, Ian, if you're down there and you're at the bottom of the division, the one thing you have to do to get out is scrap. And certainly Joe Royle's got his side doing that.
Just to remind you, Everton have used up one substitution already, with Gary Ablett having to come off and Brian Stewart on. Leeds have the 2 South Africans, Thomas Singer and Lucas Radebe on the bench. Singer a striker, Radebe who plays usually in midfield. Weatherall in very quickly. Oh, that's a bad bounce for Southall. Can Dean get in there? Well, that's a real alarm for Everton. They've got away with it for the moment, but Southall there, completely deceived by the bounce.
Well, every picture tells a story, they say.
Dorigo. Oh, and it was White who came in, slicing his chance, but a better start by Leeds United.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony Dorigo blasted that across, but all because of a shake of the head. He thinks he's got this, and oh dear, dear, dear. That's totally misjudged. And I tell you, he's very thankful that his centre-back didn't give it up either. But what a ball this is from Gary McAllister. That's magnificent. Dorigo fires it across along the ground. I think that's a chance. You don't have to do much with that.
And
which is David White, sorry, and except put your foot in it and direct it. And he couldn't do that because it whizzed across at ground level.
Tried to cut across you then, Andy. I thought Wallace was going to break onto a chance for a moment, but it wasn't to be. I wonder what Howard Wilkinson said at half-time. I bet he was turning the air blue in there because Leeds in that first half were a bit sloppy defensively, weren't they, to put it mildly?
Sloppy defensively, lots of pressure, without ever bringing Neville Southall into action. I don't think Neville's had a save to make in 47 minutes. So with all the pressure, 45% of it in Everton's defending third, he would have at least expected the goalkeeper to have been called into action once or twice.
Nick Collins has a quick piece of news for us.
Thanks, Ian. Yes, I spoke to Gary Abbott a few minutes ago. He looked in some pain in the corridor outside the dressing room. He was on his way to hospital for an X-ray on that suspected broken rib, but he did look in pain.
He claims for handball there in the penalty area against Palmer, I think it was. Only half-hearted appeals and nothing given. Dorigo with the header. Free kick to Everton. Can Everton make it 6 games without defeat? That would be a very, very fair run indeed. Watson. It's knocked on by Ferguson. Eberl in bravely. And then Weatherall completing the clearance. The ball again swirling around in the wind. It's well run by Dave Watson. And a magnificent servant for Everton. Jackson. McAllister doesn't get in there because Eberl does. Will it bounce for him? The Everton fans screaming for a penalty kick there, but not given.
Well, it's a very good run initially from John Eberl. It's all over the place here. It doesn't quite come down from there. Gary McAllister doesn't know what it is. And the question is, does David White hang his leg out? I think not. He pulled it away just in time, and John Eberl went down. I think a good decision from the referee.
Well, those are marvellous slow-motion shots, breaking it down so slowly, and I think they proved conclusively it wasn't a penalty. Good decision by the referee. Palmer getting it away. Now here is David White involved in that controversial incident. Whelan. Wallace has come to the near post. Dean was on the far post. Kelly, and his opposite number 2, Matt Jackson getting it away. Here's Dorigo. Everton so competitive in there, but Leeds United have just upped the tempo a little, looking to push more men forward in search of this equalizer. Palmer, not the best ball from him. He's given it to Stewart. Here's Graham Stewart. Ferguson's up there with him. Played ahead of Ferguson. And off Kelly. It's no back pass. That is ruled a non-back pass by Kelly. The referee taking the view that was not deliberate. In which case, it could have gone anywhere and maybe back to Ferguson.
Graham Stewart caught in two minds, I felt there. Two options, the option to go alone and have a shot, pull the trigger himself, or play Ferguson in. He opted to play Ferguson in, but really didn't provide Duncan Ferguson with a ball he could deal with.
Hinchcliffe. Weatherall cuts it out. Kelly on the stretch. Doing very well indeed. He had to win it because Ferguson was ready to break in behind him. Had that fantastic season last year when he went from being a Leeds United reserve all the way to the World Cup with the Republic of Ireland. He did very well there too. Cross the right out again, who's given the free header. It got to him and he's off the target. And he's very, very disappointed with himself about that.
Well, he will be, because he's a good head. He is a good header of the ball. He pulls behind Captain Palmer very well indeed. Now, he made that himself, because he just stuck behind him. But here's a chance earlier that Graham Stewart had. They don't clear it very well, and Stewart's away. And he's got a choice now. Does he play Ferguson? Does he just shift it again and go himself? And really, that did nothing. Really did nothing there. But right outs was the chance, without a doubt, Ian. Pulled to the back of Carlton Palmer. The ball's a good one. The header this time, though, wasn't.
Still 1-0. Dorigo. Even Weatherall up there supporting the attack. Jackson. Oh, this is falling here for Ferguson. Lukic out quickly and decisively as he had to be. Well, it's already a much better second half. Parkinson crunching in with a challenge.
Well, people talk about people's determination to work. Duncan Ferguson gave a great example of it there. He won the header at the edge of the 18-yard box here. He was the one back defending. And then, who was the one furthest forward? Onto Jackson's ball. Ferguson again. And that's what you call committed to the team, isn't it?
Jackson. All very, very tight. Noel Whelan giving away 14 years to Dave Watson, but going past him. Did Watson bring him down there? No, the referee indicates that he thought Whelan took a dive.
Well, he took Steve Watson there, and he thinks he's away. Does he have a little tug, or does he just fall over? Well, he seems just to stumble. I don't think Dave Watson did an awful lot wrong there.
Here's McAllister. Trying the shot, and he's got a very, very good one. McAllister, who tends to score spectacular goals.
Well, he takes scuffing one in at the near post tonight, because he doesn't hit that really well. And well, when you're as confident as a goalkeeper is at the moment, it's not going to be troubled with that.
Right out. Hinchcliffe. Played up to Stewart. And then Everall trying to pick up Hinchcliffe's run. Doesn't get as far as Ferguson. It's Carlton Palmer who picks it up. Now here comes Whelan. Leeds looking more threatening, though, in this second half. Whelan playing the ball through, and Wallace, rather, who couldn't make his way past Jackson.
Well, he's learning his trade, David Unsworth, as a centre-back, and one of the things he'll learn from Dave Watson if he watches him closely is you don't duck under balls when they're there to head. But he ducked under that, and they almost paid, because the ball broke to Wallace. And luckily, Jackson was in hand.
Kelly. Back to McAllister. And Hinchcliffe getting it away. Everton with 10 players back behind the ball at that stage. The wind is becoming a howling gale, I can tell you. Ooh, Weatherall took a bit of a chance and got away with it against Ferguson. Dorigo. And Whelan could be in here, all brought down by Unsworth. And if that's seen as a foul, it's a red card offence, but it isn't seen as a foul. Well, there's a debating point for you.
Well, it is, because if he doesn't win the ball, then it is a foul. Again, a long ball troubles him. No Whelan's through. Now, there's no reason why Whelan should go down here. I think Unsworth got lucky here. I think Whelan gets to the ball. The left leg comes round there. I don't think makes any contact with anything other than Whelan. Admittedly, the referee's looking at that from a long way back. He had a quick look at his linesman. I have to be fair to Paul Durkin. While I was looking at him closely, he looked to his linesman, who's right in line with it. The linesman did nothing. So therefore, if the referee's not sure, he has to let play go on.
Well, the linesman over there on that far side, Barry Priest. And then Hinchcliffe with the unceremonious clearance. Ferguson wins it well. Right out spreads it wide, but no chance of Jackson to pick that up. Plenty for Rodney Wallace. Keeps possession despite Parkinson's challenge. No free kick. Advantage rule played by the referee. Carlton Palmer goes back this time. He got into a bit of bother once before. Carlton Palmer, who's celebrating his 29th birthday today, if celebration's the right word when you're 1-0 down in a game as hot as this one at Goodison. It's hardly a relaxing evening out, is it? It's Ferguson to Hinchcliffe and then Stewart. Unsworth quick enough to get there. Trying the chip, and Lukic. So did he get a touch on that? He did. He said, I didn't. He said, I let it go, not to concede the corner.
I thought he touched it, I have to say. One of those tricky ones, swirling in the wind, and he's not sure, not 100% anyway. Yeah, he did push it over.
Here's another Hinchcliffe corner. Flicked on again, and Ferguson with the header. And Lukic definitely touched that one.
Are you sure? Yeah, again, they don't clear the corner, eh? First Rideout gets the first touch. Then Ferguson trying to loop it over the goalkeeper. He would have done so, but Lukic is about 6'3", and that's not an easy thing to do.
Hinchcliffe again, whipping it in, so much damage, and Ferguson has got a goal. He's going into hiding behind his shirt, but it was a wonderful glancing header, and again it's a corner that produces the goal, just as it did against Liverpool at that end. 2-0.
Why should we be surprised? They haven't dealt with a corner all night. I just wondered for a minute, did he take a ride on Paul Rideout's shoulder? He gets up so well behind Paul Rideout. No, he didn't. Clean jump, lovely glancing header, and all down to good delivery again from Andy Hinchcliffe. These corners have tormented Leeds tonight, they really have.
2-0 to Everton. If they score another one, they could be out of the bottom four by the end of this game. Duncan Ferguson, 2 goals in 3 games. And just listen to the row now being made by the Goodison faithful. They really do believe that it's the rebirth of the Goodison Blues.
That was an important goal, Ian. It really was, because Leeds actually came out with a very determined look about them in the second half. For Everton to get that second one, well, the players will just relax a little. Not too much of that, I'm sure.
Speed to Dean. Unsworth. Ebrel, the linesman is flagging away furiously on the far side.
That's it. He's booking Brian Dean.
Brian Dean will be booked.
Linesman spotted him, and so did Paul Durkin, having a little nick after the ball had gone.
Not turning into a very happy night this for Leeds United. The 2-0 down here, starting the night in 8th place.
Yeah, more away day Blues.
But, from their point of view, still half an hour to try to do something about it. Unsworth.
Honestly, there hasn't been a great deal between the sides. And most of the pressure has come from the visitors. The one thing they've done poorly is deal with corners against them.
Well, you can hardly hear yourself think at Goodison Park at the moment. The Everton fans, at this point, believe that their side are on the way to another vital 3 points down at the bottom. Kelly helping this one forward. Kelly. Now Whelan. White's turning out of trouble and spreading it into some space for Dorigo. There hasn't been a lot of space at all. Dorigo. Well, he hasn't scored for over 18 months, Tony Dorigo, and it was on his wrong foot there.
Well, just how important has his contribution been tonight? Not only playing Ian, but from this position here. He whips it in with pace. Look at Ferguson. Again, there are two blue shirts in between white shirts. Now, that shouldn't happen. But the quality, lovely glancing header, it really was. There's every right to be pleased about that.
He's really starting to produce the goods, isn't he? Duncan Ferguson, after a lot of trouble off the pitch.
He
a bit on it as well.
Seems to be enjoying the spell. Down south, Ian.
He still has that 12-match ban as well hanging over him in Scotland. That's the possession. Leeds have got more of it, but Everton have got definitely more of the goals.
They've had more possession, they've had more pressure.
Kelly to Dorigo. Now speed. Dorigo again. Away by Dave Watson. Now Graham Stewart. There's been quite a few similarities with that Liverpool game, hasn't it, really, with Everton's combativeness in the middle of the field, a very important factor, you feel?
Well, I think that's right, Ian. I think that Joe obviously has set the stall out.
Same two scorers as well.
Same two scorers all the way around, but Joe's set the stall out for his team to, first of all, have a tremendous work rate. Work hard at not giving anything away and pressurise teams when you're playing against them.
Dorigo, good positive run. Jackson, though, with some excellent defending. Speed takes it quickly to Wallace. Now, Carlton Palmer. Has he got time and room?
Well, that's just a little example of the pressure he was under. He had a bit of time for a fraction of a second, but then Ebro, Parkinson and Watson, now look at them. Three of them collapse in a heap, four of them put them under pressure. Now that's what you call pressurising the ball.
Charles Wilkinson and Mick Hannigan with one or two problems to sort out.
Everything's been cheered, isn't it? Here, everything, every tackle, every time you close it down. Even the most basic things.
There's a real passion and fervour about the place again at the moment. Leeds United, I'm sure, will be reflecting that they'd have much rather come here about 6 weeks ago. Vaughan. Ferguson. Taking on Palmer, who gets in his challenge. Another corner, and that could be more problems. The way Andy Hinchcliffe is delivering them tonight.
This should be an easier one to do with. This side should be easier because it's going to be coming away from goal. I always think that the one from this near side, Ian, and he's whipping it in towards the goal, and whipping it under the crossbar is the more difficult one. But we will see.
Hinchcliffe. Was that a hand by Gary Speed? It looked like it. It's a penalty. Gary Speed handled it.
Well, that just about sums up the difficulty they've had, Ian. Up comes the hand. I don't think there's any doubt. There it is. It's to stop right out getting your head on the ball. The referee's in a great position. He's got absolutely no choice but to point to the spot and award a penalty.
David Unsworth is going to take the penalty kick. He scored it as well. Everton lead by 3 goals to 0 here, and they're going haywire.
Well, it's all going right for them, isn't it?
It's his second goal of the season, Unsworth.
Very calmly done. Goalkeeper goes early, and the kid just watches him and strokes it into the other corner. Nicely done. And that for Everton should be home and dry. But what on earth does Howard Wilkinson do? Another away defeat looks very much on the cards now.
And they've all been against sides who've been at best in the middle of the table, and a lot of them down near the bottom.
Well, Ipswich you mentioned, I'm sure, didn't you?
The Leeds now in danger of being swamped here. Everton have outfought them. If it stays like this, with a 3-goal margin, Everton are out of the bottom 4 this evening. What a remarkable turnaround that would be in their fortunes in the 23-day reign of Joe Royle. Well, not many people would have bet much on a scoreline like that at the start of the night. 3-0 to Everton. McAllister. Oh, and a great header from Weatherall, and saved by Southall.
Well, the referee's mistaken. Neville will take it. It's down in his locker as a save now, but it isn't a save. Weatherall gets up well. It's a good header. It really is. Look, it hits the top of the bar.
I wondered if he'd got a fingertip onto it. You were quite right, Andy. It just hit the top of the bar. White again. Nothing going right for Leeds United.
Well, we can clear it up. The ball in's a good one. The header's a good one. It's trying to dip. Well, top of the bar. It's now down, and Neville Southall's book as a great save.
Palmer, McAllister, unable to impose his usual elegant control of things in the middle of the field today. Gary McAllister, it's just been so ferocious, so tigerish, the tackling from the midfield quartet of Everton, and of course the defenders too. Weatherall, up goes Speed trying to win it, and back in again by Weatherall, who has his head in his hands as if to say, should have done better.
Do you know something I noticed, Ian? Gary Speed gave away the penalty, but the last corner before, now I want you to watch him, the number 11 there. Now watch his hand. Watch this, is right there, the left arm goes up. Now how close was he to giving away a penalty there? And that was the last corner from that side. The next one came in, well, and this is it. Up goes that left hand again. I just wondered, is it a natural way he jumps? You know, 2 in quick succession like that. One he got away with, and one he certainly didn't.
In which case it's dangerous, isn't it? A dangerous way to jump. With the ball, he was, as you said, he was a fraction of an inch away. Dean wins that well in the air, but so does Unsworth. Then Wallace, finding Dorigo well. That's well struck by Tony Dorigo. Now, was it out of play before Southall caught it? Goal kick. Referee looked at his linesman and said goal kick.
Well, that's an incredible decision for the linesman to give. Look at his position. He's 15 yards from goal line there. Now, it's close. Well, we can't even tell from there.
I think the officials got that right.
Well, they might have done.
I think they got it right.
I wouldn't argue with it. But it's incredible position to give a decision from.
Hinchcliffe. It's a difficult one for Palmer to have to deal with. Kelly, though, mopping it up. Inside the last 20 minutes now on what's turned out to be a bit of a nightmarish night for Leeds United. Everton flying at the moment. Here's Ferguson. Now David White. Whelan. Now Dean, can he get there? He can't because Jackson was in the way, then Barry Horn. That'll do as far as Everton are concerned. They're in no mood at all now to give Leeds United any kind of hope. Everybody back behind the ball. Wallace. Oh, he does well there, very well. Dean's attacking it. Great work by Hinchcliffe again, who's done excellently at both ends.
It was a good defence up here, because that was a super ball from Rodney Wallace. Didn't think he was going to dig across out there. But he not only digs out a cross, he digs out a very good one. I expected Brian Dean to attack that a little bit more purposefully.
Leeds almost camping out in that Everton penalty area at the moment. And if they were to get one, it might just be something for them to bite at, but 3 goals is a heck of a lot to pull back.
Well, there was 45% in Everton's defending third in the first half here. I wouldn't be surprised if in the second half it's even more. And yet Everton are leading 3-0.
Here we go. Nicely into Whelan. McAllister, this is good football. Wallace, where's it going to end? Difficult for Answorth, but Southall's in charge again. Gave his defender all the help he needed. Weatherall wins it in the air. Barry Horn picks it up. Here's right up. Horn again. Parkinson. Now Hinchcliffe. Is he going to cap his night with a goal? Oh, beautifully struck. That might have been a little bit further away than it looked from this angle. We'll see again, I'm sure.
Yeah, it probably was. I'm only saying that, Ian, with the goalkeeper's reaction. But the one thing that we will see is it was very, very well hit. Oh, blimey, that was close. Either John Lukic was very, very confident of where that was going, and he just thought, well, there's no way I can get near it. Oh, it doesn't look from this very much.
I was wrong. It was pretty close, wasn't it?
I think the keeper had given it up.
He can strike a football rather well, can't he, Andy Hinchcliffe? He showed us tonight. That's McAllister to Garrigo. Palmer to Speed. David White. Speed. Well, he was trying to find Garrigo, but it never looked like getting there. Jackson with the interception. So far, Everton on the way to what would be, if it stayed like this, a 5th clean sheet in a row. 23 attempts on goal and 8 on target so far, combined. This is Garrigo. McAllister with some work to do there. Rideout. Getting in well. Now then, here's Ferguson. He's got away from Weatherall. Jackson's there in the middle. And not found in the end. Palmer retrieves the situation.
It's a poor ending, isn't it, to a very enterprising run. He's just saying, I had nothing on, there was nothing I could do. Left his colleagues behind with that run.
The nearest man in support was the right back, Matt Jackson. Weatherall gets it away in the end. Back in again by Watson. Then Dean. The impressive Unsworth, who's on the score sheet tonight from the penalty spot. Leeds United may be preparing to bring on their South Africans at some point in the game, but not at the moment, obviously. They're still safe and warm in the tracksuits. Lucas Radebe and Phil Masinga.
Looks like they might not be coming on here. It'll take them 15 minutes to get warmed up tonight, I tell you.
It would, wouldn't it? Big heroes back home, both those players in South Africa. And this game, I know, is being transmitted live in that country. That looked like a hand by Unsworth, but not deliberate, said the referee. Stewart trying to plough away through the middle. That's good work by Gary Kelly. Speed. It breaks down again. Rideout. Hinchcliffe, who may be a contender when Andy Gray comes to make his selection as man of the match. That comes up a bit later. Andy will be giving some thought to it.
You're thinking about it all night, Carl.
You're only allowed to announce it late on, aren't you?
Yes.
You can give us a clue to a few contenders if you want.
It might be an Everton player.
You don't say. Parkinson. Ferguson. Neatly done. Speed with the interception. It's a conundrum for Leeds United. In the league, they've lost only 4 of their last 72 at home. But here they are, seemingly on the way to a 5th away defeat of the season. And remember, a couple of seasons ago, they didn't win an away match at all.
Strange, isn't it?
Well, he doesn't need prayers, does he?
No,
they're being answered anyway, whatever they are.
If he's doing plenty of it, yeah, they certainly are.
I'm sure Joe Royle couldn't have dreamt of a start like this when he took over.
Yes, dreamed he could have done it. He would never have realised he would get a start like this.
It's fantasy football made real, isn't it, for him? And Howard Wilkinson reflecting on the treble sickness his team seemed to suffer. Having said that, I think any team coming here at the moment would find it a very, very stiff task. The way Everton are competing so hard and defending so well, and with the threat posed by Rideout and Ferguson in the air.
Oh, I think you're right. I mean, I think, Joe, that he sets out the stall to be very competitive. And I think that shows, that shines through the back 4 and the midfield 4, who are probably working harder under Joe. It's nothing against Mike Walker, but probably working harder as a unit under Joe Royle than they have done all season. Physically, that is. It's a very physically demanding way of playing. I'd be very surprised if it's the type of football you could play for a whole season. It may be a short-term thing to get them out of trouble first and foremost, to build some confidence, and then just tinker with it slightly.
Hinchcliffe with the throw. Rideout with the header. Ferguson, Horn. Anyone Barry Horn, and it might have gone anywhere. Luckily it went behind. Just them developing the point again as we watch this. Just watch this first, Andy. See how close this was from Horn.
Well, he gets in the way more than anything.
I was just wondering what all this means for poor Daniel Anakachi, who's not even on the bench tonight.
Well, it means that, I mean, we have to realise that the lads come from a long way away. To their side it was struggling in, and it would have been difficult for him to settle anyway. I don't think Joe Royle would be judging him too quickly. He'll give him time to settle.
Here we go. David Burrows there at the back, who's serving the last game of a 3-game suspension, and Vinnie Samways, who's had a back injury, but is fit again, not in the squad tonight, but back in contention, certainly. It looked like a hand. Dorigo. Dean gets that one, and then Whelan with the header. Close.
Yeah,
close.
Unlucky. Good link up. Good ball to Dean, good header down. And no, Whelan's got 1 or 2 headed goals recently, and he makes a good run off his strike partner, but he's just unable to direct his own header well enough. Dean's not going for goal, he's helping it into an area. Whelan gets in front of Watson for one of the few times tonight.
Whelan, I know, has been working very, very hard on his heading, and he scored an absolute cracker for the under-21s with the header the other night, and he scored a very good one against Nottingham Forest last week, so it's working. But you get the feeling with Leeds United tonight, the way this is all panning out, that if they played till midnight, it wouldn't go in. Speed. Horn. Back to Carlton Palmer. Oh, and Lukic. Well, Ferguson was around, but I won't give the goalkeeper credit. He did it well in the end. Didn't do Howard Wilkinson's part a whole lot of good, but
well, managers don't give up games easily, but I think even unless something remarkable happens, even Howard will have to concede that his team have suffered another away defeat.
White. Away again to Rigo. It's good. Ferguson's back defending this time. Alistair heads it back in again, and then Watson. Back in by Kelly. Head tennis at the moment. It might drop here. It does drop for Dean. And Everton giving the ball away. To Rigo. Wallace got his head to it. Good while for a little man there with Unsworth challenging with him. 3-0. Everton are not only going to leapfrog above Aston Villa, they may well be leapfrogging over West Ham United as well. Airbrall. And a yellow card, this time for White.
Frustration more than anything, I think that is from David White.
This is Gary Kelly. Everton are 5.5 minutes away from the victory, which is surely theirs now, barring something absolutely sensational. We did see Spurs score 5 in about 4.5 minutes, didn't we, once?
They were creating chances in that game.
Correct. So here in the FA Carling Premiership, Everton 3, Leeds United 0 with 5 minutes remaining. Ferguson right out, David Unsworth with a penalty. And Everton, well, they could almost play for corners tonight.
You listen to the cheer that goes up. Look at that. I think supporters are realising the problems that Leeds have had all night in dealing with this.
Great expectations among the Everton fans. It's another Andy Hinchcliffe corner. Can't remember when corners last caused so much excitement, but they've been a key factor tonight. Here comes another one. Ferguson's up for it again. This time Leeds get it away, or do they? Yes, they do, with speed eventually. Unsworth with a rather unconventional pass to Horn, to put it mildly. And now Dean, he's got no support though. Dorigo. Speed. Kelly. Dean's attacking it, doesn't win it though. Leeds have had plenty of the game, but the key point really is that they just have not been able to defend the corners tonight.
That's certainly an important part, but they've not created enough themselves, with all the possession, with all the pressure they've had. That one header from Weatherall, that clipped the top of the crossbar. The only real threat that Everton have had to deal with, and now the crowd are finally realising with just over 3 minutes to go that it's all over.
Coming up on Sunday, we're across Stanley Park for Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Ferguson here, and then Man City Arsenal on Monday night. Joe Parkinson. And Everton happy to keep the ball down in the corner. It's rescued, but only to Horn. Lukic getting it away. It's getting on for that time, isn't it, Andy, where you'll have to tell us the man of the match.
I've got him. I've got him. I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, funny enough, there he popped up on the screen just there. Look at that. Yeah, he started left side midfield here, and he's had to move back to left back. And although he's had a very sound performance, you can't ignore the problems that he's caused Leeds. 3 goals, all resulting from Andy Hinchcliffe's corners that they were unable to deal with.
Andy Hinchcliffe, man of the match. No offside given because Dean was coming back and not deemed to be interfering. No way back now, you feel, for Leeds United. I've felt that for some time, actually, to be perfectly honest. Kelly. His speed. McAllister. Ferguson popping up this time in the outside left position. Noel Whelan.
Still at it. Look at the Everton's the midfield 4. Still at it, still pressing, still pushing out, not giving Leeds any time on the ball.
Everton have worked so hard and they'll want to keep this 5th consecutive clean sheet. This is a performance which will take their unbeaten run to 6 matches. To be fair, 3 of them under Mike Walker. 3 under the new manager, Joe Royle, who is going to maintain his 100% start. 9 points out of 9. Well done, sir. And a smile from his number 2, Willie Donachie, alongside him. No wonder.
Yeah, but for Joe, it's just the beginning.
Brought down from behind by Dean. Free kick. Now Everton going to crown all this with a 4th goal. Matt Jackson scored his first ever league goal against Leeds United. The shot was from Barry Horn.
Well, he rifled one in last game of the season, Barry Horn, didn't he? One of his few goals. And I think this is just an example of the confidence that Everton have got at the moment.
And if Barry Horn hadn't put that in, Everton wouldn't be here tonight. He'd be down in Division 1. Southall. Speed. A rather bereft look about Leeds United now. They've just been banging their heads against the brick wall, really.
That about sums it up, Ian. I think teams that now play against Everton, particularly at this moment in time, are going to find it very, very difficult to break them down. They really do work tremendously hard for each other.
I think Joe might be winning one of those Manager of the Month awards. There might be 1 or 2 other contenders, but Joe would certainly be in the running. Dean getting this one in. Crowd whistling for it to end as if there was only 1 goal in it. Instead, Everton are very comfortable. 3-0 up, Dorigo. Southall comes for it, Dean! and hacked off the line by the man of the match, Andy Hinchcliffe. As if to confirm the point, he certainly was the central character. Joe Royle continues to be a very happy man. Everton are out of the dreaded bottom four. Amazing stuff. Duncan Ferguson has scored again. Will they be able to make his move permanent? They certainly hope so. Paul Rideout has scored for the third time in 3 matches. Standing ovation. Gary Speed, who handled to give David Unsworth a penalty, which he put in with great authority. Everything went right. Everything went right for Everton. They win by 3-0 over Leeds United, who lose for the 5th time away from home this season. And I tell you what, Everton will want to play in front of the Sky cameras on a Monday night, every Monday. They've beaten Liverpool in a Merseyside derby a couple of weeks ago here. Next home match, they've beaten Leeds 3-0. Andy?
Yeah, I think the scenes around here, Ian, are not scenes of a team who are struggling. They're not scenes of a team who believe they should be down there. The players are buoyant, they're going off the pitch, they're slapping each other on the back. They're very, very happy with life at the moment. And I would firmly expect that to continue, and for Everton to slowly continue to climb the Premiership. But it's just beginning for them. Joe Royle's first few weeks, people are flying along in a crest of a wave. The hard work's still ahead.
Well, let's go backstage now and join Nick Collins.
Thanks, Ian. I've got Paul Rideout here, who started off the scoring. Paul, how important was it to get such an early goal like that?
It's always nice to get an early goal. It settles everyone down and gives everyone a bit of confidence. And, I mean, we went on from there, but last sort of 15 minutes, Leeds came back into it the first half, and it was a little bit worrying, but we got the result in the end.
Now, have the team been practising their corners in training? Because all 3 goals came from corners, really, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, Andy whips in a great ball, several, and it causing all sorts of problems. And, I mean, he's one of the best in the game at doing it.
So what will this do for the players' confidence? By winning by 3-0, it's moved you out of the bottom 4.
Yeah, it's nice. Again, it's another win, clean sheet again. I mean, we were very pleased the way we've done it. It's 3 top 6 sides now we've played. So it's not lucky, and we're thrilled.
From your own point of view, 3 goals in 3 games under Joe Royle. Do you feel more settled now here at Goodison Park?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Joe's a forward, as I said before, and he knows what we want in training. We do a lot more finishing now. We're still working on the other side of the game, closing down that, but we're doing the finishing as well, which I haven't done since Howard Kendall was in.
All right, well, keep up the good work, Paul. Andy Hinchcliffe was named the Carling Man of the Match. Perhaps you take that down to the dressing room and give it to him. Cheers, Paul. Joe, many congratulations. 3 wins out of 3. It's taken you out of the bottom 4. Did you expect to be in this position so quickly?
Well, I didn't really look at it as, you know, we've got 3 games to win kind of thing. It was just getting that first win under our belt, and I think everybody took so much confidence and heart from the Liverpool game and the Liverpool performance. The best we've played, actually, was the Chelsea game, when we could have scored a lot more goals. First half today, a little bit disappointed in our passing at times. You know, we showed an awful lot of passion. At one stage, litter blew across the pitch and 3 of our players tackled it. You know, it was that kind of night. But having said that, you know, that was the basis for the performance. Second half, we passed it better, but we're just looking for a level, for a base performance that will get us a point, even when we play terribly. And I think we've had that in the 3 games up to now.
Another goal by Duncan Ferguson for you. How much would you like to sign him, and how difficult is the process?
Yes, and very. Yes, I mean, I want to sign Big Duncan. I've said that all along. There are moves afoot to try and get something moving in that direction. But as I said many times, you know, it's fraught with difficulties, but yes, we are pursuing it.
Now, the corners, 3 of them led to goals. Is that something you've really been working on?
We've worked very little on it. You don't have to work an awful lot when you get a delivery like Andy Hinchcliffe's, which is as good as any I've ever seen. I mean, he really has got as good a left foot as you've ever seen. Not a sort of Jim Baxter cultured left foot, but in the modern game where set pieces do win games, he's vital to us. And his all-round play has been excellent since he's been in the side. Very unfortunate for Gary Ablett, who may have fractured a rib. We're waiting to find out about that. But even when Andy went back to left back, he gave us a terrific performance. And as I say, you know, as a big fella, I would have loved to have had his delivery to play with.
No Daniel Amakachi tonight. What's the situation with him?
Well, Daniel's not been in the team. I mean, that's the situation. There's nobody has a divine right to play. You know, Daniel suffered a little bit. I think as the side was suffering, Daniel suffered more than anybody, and confidence has been a little bit low, and form low as well. So he wasn't considered for tonight, you know, but he's not the first player to be left out. You know, there's no need to make a special case of him. If Daniel comes back to his best form, I'm sure he'll be challenging for a place soon.
All right, Joe, we'll keep up the good work. Well done again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.